Hey y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and welcome to my week 4 contribution for the Seek, Gather, Create challenge. This week the 4 things we needed were handwritten words, so I'm going to use that Pentel pocket brush pen to make some words. Something yellow, so I've got this little piece of fabric. We needed a smile. Y'all, I found this cute little girl on the back of a magazine. And oh my gosh, I love her so much. And she's smiling. So decided to use her, and some metal chain. You'll have an abundance of chain because I make jewelry. And so I just kind of went through stuff and found some I don't use, which is this ball chain that's made for keychains. So it's short lengths, and I'm going to connect them all together here. Yeah. Because I had a couple that weren't connected. But they're just short lengths of ball chain connected with these little, I don't even know, connector things. And I don't ever use it, and I don't know why I have so much of this, y'all. This was just a small portion of this ball chain that I had, so I was like, yeah, it'll work in this. My only problem with it is it makes the page really heavy. So I think I thought I would put it on the page on the left because that was a nice sturdy page. But it just doesn't work with the way I had to cut the little girl because I needed to put her on the left. So the ball chain was going to end up having to be on the right on that flimsier piece of paper. So I was trying to bulk it up with some collage. So I've sped this up quite a bit. I'm just using an Oohoo glue stick and different papers that I just I cleaned off my craft desk in my actual craft room because I'm trying to get back in there and out of my makeshift craft room. I broke my ankle at the beginning of December and have basically been bedbound for a couple months, and I'm finally getting kind of back into things. My husband created a working area for me in the spare bedroom that I was able to work at from a wheelchair. So that was really nice. And so that's where a lot of my more recent videos have come from. But I'm slowly working my way back into the craft room. So I cleaned off my desk and found some of these bits and pieces of paper. And actually, that tissue paper I used was the tissue paper I was going to use last week for week 3 of the Seek, Gather, Create challenge. And I thought, I'll just go ahead and use it for this. So I'm using some Aliens tacky glue to stick down that chain. I could have used my favorite E6000, but I figured this would work just as fine, and it's on my little makeshift desk too, and it's less harsh, I guess. It feels more okay for a journal. Oh, and I didn't tell you, the journal I'm working in is a junk journal that I created from Robin Marie Smith's Transitions Journal Workshop. Y'all, that's a free workshop she's got on her website. I will put a link to her courses below, and you should be able to find it there. All right, so I took all of that chain and just kind of looped it there up and down and gave it a little while to dry. I walked away for a couple hours and let it dry because I knew I was going to coat it with a bunch of gesso, because I wanted to accentuate it and not make it like the star of the show. I wanted that little girl to really kind of be more of the star of this. So I'm making sure I'm covering up all that chain, but then bringing that gesso over across the rest of the page. I'm trying to cover up some of the hints of color that are kind of there in the background. And I'm definitely feeling my Lisa Goddard style. Lisa is one of the hosts of this, along with Tina Hoy's art, Laura Dennison, and Jana Clinard Harris. I will have links to all of them below their Instagram, which is where the reveals for this challenge are. So make sure you check them all out. I'll say a little bit more. Seek, Gather, Create. You have to get 4 items and work them into some kind of mixed media project. It's a mixed media scavenger hunt. So I think I've said a bunch of words now, and I should have probably said them at the beginning instead of, halfway through this. But that's okay. This is where we are. So I'm drawing that. I've torn my fabric down a little, as you saw, and I decided to add a bit of mark making to the background with one of my hand carved stamps and some Stays On ink. I knew I wanted to add some probably water soluble ink in a minute. I really liked what Lisa did for her week 3 of this challenge, where she put down her tissue paper and then put ink over it and had this beautiful texture. I wasn't going to go basically for the same thing, but I wanted something, I wanted to play with that kind of idea that Lisa had done. So that's, hats off to Lisa for that. She's always really good about inspiring me. So I'm putting some stays on out down so when I put down those inks, the stamps, the marks don't run. All right, so here come the inks. This first one I'm using, it's not really an ink. Well, is it? I don't know. It's the Marabou Art Aqua ink. It's their watercolor ink paint, whatever stuff. And so I'm putting that down and using a fairly wet paintbrush. Instead of getting more ink on my paintbrush, I'm putting more water on my paintbrush to kind of move that around because I didn't want it to get darker, but I wanted it across the page. Here I do, yeah. When it gets too light, I'm adding it. I probably should have used a bigger paintbrush for this. I don't know. Did splatter it a little. I don't know if that's even noticeable. And I was going to use this Winsor & Newton ink that I picked up at a thrift store. Yeah, I could not get it open, y'all. I'm going to have to get some Mama Jamma pliers out and see if I can get that open later. So instead I went for... Oh wait, that Marabou ink was in cyan, and this is the Liquitex Acrylic Ink in cadmium yellow light, I believe. And I'm putting that in there. I chose this partly because of the yellow strip of fabric that I've got. It doesn't completely match it, but it helps bring that yellow in there. And also, I knew that it would mix really well with the blue. Y'all, I don't know color theory. I just know primary colors, and that blue and yellow are primary colors, and they will mix nicely together. I don't know if that makes them... I don't know. I get complementary and contrasting mixed up. I don't know what that makes them. They're primary colors. They mix. Haha, there. I decided to try to accent that chain with a little bit of black paint. I think that is just some, what do you call it? Chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree. I've been using it because it works almost like a black gesso. I know that there's probably some kind of chemical something in it but I like the black I get from it. So I'm just very lightly with a dry brush and most of the paint taken off, trying to highlight that. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine. But then I decided I wanted to kind of bring that black across the page as well. I still was working with, I don't know what I'm going to do other than I'm going to put this adorable little girl on this page. Yeah. So I'm just making these marks across, trying to make them kind of scattered and not really a pattern, just bringing that black across the page. Since I had put it on the chain, I wanted it to kind of make sense on the page. Like I said, I had cleaned off my desk. In that cleaning, I found this little envelope of gold leaf from the December Yumi 3, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and use some of this. So I used my Oohoo glue stick and made some sticky spots on my page, and I'm sticking that gold leaf right into it. I'm not being real fussy about it. I did lose that spot there. I was like, oh no, where did it go? And then I decided I need, I kind of look at my page, and I'm going to put another spot up there at the top. Yep. And it kind of works because I've got that tissue paper there that had that little bit of gold speckles in it, so it works nicely. And I'm using a brush just to brush off the excess. Yep, I really like just the spots, and this helps lead me to the sentiment that I end up writing onto this page here in a minute. And y'all, okay, so my little girl, her arm is cut off because in the picture she was like shaking the priest's hand. She's dressed up for Easter, and the priest was shaking her hand and everything, and it just was so awkward when I cut it out with her arm there. That's why I've got to put her on this left side of the page because she's missing that arm. I wish I had kept it in there now because I think I could have possibly had it lead to that pull chain, that ball chain that I had, and maybe had her holding that, just like last week I had my lady in the picture hold that butterfly. Now, this is not my favorite junk journal page I've ever made, or junk journal spread I've ever made. I kind of got all my elements in here for week 4, and I couldn't not put it in since I put weeks 1 through 3 in. But it's, it's not awful, but it's just not my favorite. All right, so here's that Pentel pocket brush pen, and I'm bringing in handwritten words. So these, I'm handwriting some words, and I'm gonna write, "She lights up the room." And like I said, it would have been really neat to have her holding that chain, because a lot of times that kind of chain is used in like pull chains for lights. Oh, the opportunities I missed in this. But it's okay. Next time I'll try to think through things a little bit more. But that gold kind of helps, it's light reactive. And that little girl's smile is lighting up this page. So I think it works. I decided the black was too black and needed a little something. So in a few of them, not all of them, I'm just adding a couple of little white marks with my my Uniball Signo white gel pen. Woo! I did use my Stabilo All at the bottom. Alright guys, this is it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Go check out the host for this. This is the last week of this challenge. I hope I have found you if you were participating in it. And that's it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.